The fighting spirit and pride and courage that served the country so well 4 years ago helped Joe Biden win. Will bring the ticket down this time. He just has to step down because he can't win. And my colleagues need to recognize that a dismissive letter is not going to change any minds.
Meanwhile,
we're now at a point in time where people are talking about Biden is too old. Hell, I'm older than Biden.
You look good, Congresswoman.
And I get up every morning.
All right.
And I exercise.
All right.
And I work late hours.
All right.
I take care of black people.
All right.
Trump has told you who he is. He defined himself. He is a no good, deplorable, lying, despicable human being. And he's talking about if he doesn't win, there's going to be a bloodbath. There's going to be violence. There's going to be a civil war. Who the hell do you think he's coming after? Who's going to be targeted? Who is he talking about? But you know he means business because he is the one that led the invasion on the Capitol January 6th. Now, do we have to talk about the difference between these two? Now, I want to tell you, no matter what anybody says, it ain't going to be no other Democratic candidate. It's going to be Biden, and we better know it.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, on this episode of Upside Down World, I mean right side up world, because let's be honest, what we're seeing right now from the media, guys, in regards to their coverage of Joe Biden is what we should have been seeing for the last 3 or 4 years straight. So we're not living in upside down world anymore. We're actually living in right side up world because things should have been this way for the longest time. And when you see Democrats getting the Trump treatment, where the media is criticizing them 24/7, rightfully so. I mean, they are the party in power, at least at the presidential level in the Senate. Yeah, they're crumbling, right? They're crumbling under the pressure of the media. It really shows you guys just how strong Trump actually really is, okay? That all the media attention that Democrats get right now, they're boohoo, whining, and crying, okay? They're melting down over it. When Trump just weathered the storm, right? He took all of it and he still came out unscathed. But it seems as if Democrats are going to crumble under the pressure of the media and them finally asking questions and being critical of the Biden administration and the Democrat Party, a party that is scrambling to try to unify behind something or someone amid all of this criticism of the Biden administration. And it looks like, at least on the record, Democrats are unifying behind Joe Biden. However, they're still making excuses for what happened at the debate and why Democrats continue to tell a different story about what's actually going on with Joe Biden.
Congressman, but what happens if the president has another bad moment? What happens if there's a moment like what we saw during the debate and there's another round of second guessing and questions about whether the president is fit to run and serve as president another 4 years? What happens then?
Well, I don't think that judging someone by a poor performance, rather it's once or twice, is enough to determine that they should not be the candidate. I hope and pray that we don't see that. I don't suspect we will. The circumstances that led to that, a combination of not being 100% healthy, having the former president heckling and making noises on the side of him, distracting him, and even being perhaps over-prepared. These are all things that we will better prepare for, and I suspect that you will not see a performance of what you did a Thursday or so ago. You will see the Joe Biden that you saw the next day and that you've seen every single day since that debate. An energized, coherent, well-planned.
Biden right now.
Right now, the same right-wing influences that are trying to take me down are trying to take down President Biden. So that's where my head is. But I'm listening to my colleagues and I'm listening to my constituents. At the end of the day, we got to beat back these right-wing influences.
The White House and also the campaign has said that he had a cold that night. He then went to a watch party afterwards, which you have brought up. I was at that watch party. If he did have a cold, why then push into another event where he spent some 45 minutes along the rope line.
I mean, and not just and I would add to that, it wasn't just a watch party. We landed at 2 a.m. in the morning in North Carolina. He greeted hundreds of North Carolinians in North Carolina. He woke up the next day in North Carolina, gave a speech in front of thousands of North Carolinians. No. I'm just trying to you gave me an opportunity, and I'm just using that opportunity, obviously, to lay out what the president did in those 2.5 days. Look, one of the reasons that we shared that he had a cold is because during the debate in real time, everybody heard his hoarse voice, and folks asked, and we were able to confirm right away that he had a cold, and that he was also tested negative for COVID. So we were able to share that in real time. So just also want to share that. Look, he pushed forward, right? Many of us have colds, and we still push forward. He's the president of the United States. He understands how important it is to continue to get up every morning, regardless of how you feel, right, to get things done. That's how this president is. I'm sure that's how many presidents before him were as well, when it comes to really not letting a cold get you down.
Yeah, so let's recap the list of excuses that have been put out here by Democrats in regards to what we saw from Joe Biden at that debate almost 2 weeks ago, okay? So he had a cold, okay? He was overprepared. Apparently it was Trump's fault because he was screaming and heckling Joe Biden even though his mic was cut during the debate. He was overprepared. His debate advisory team, his preparation team failed him. He had jet lag, even though he hadn't traveled out of the country for like 10 or 12 days before that. Am I missing anything? You guys let me know in the comment section which excuse am I missing that Democrats are using to try to make it seem like Joe Biden's performance wasn't that big of a deal as they now publicly try to unite behind Joe Biden. However, a lot of people are just not buying into this. Like, for example, even liberal comedians like Jon Stewart, who is calling out the Democrats in a brutal monologue where he basically is tired of the Democrats and their BS excuses for Joe Biden and the fact that they can't seem to get their story straight.
The stutter.
He hasn't debated in 4 years.
He was almost over-prepared.
He had an off night. People have an off night.
The president traveled 6 time zones forward to G7, and he was also continued to do his presidential duties. And also he had a cold. He was jet lagged.
He'd been home for almost 2 weeks. He was jet lagged? How big is that f***ing jet? The point is, for a campaign based on honesty and decency, the spin about the debate appears to be blatant. And the redemption tour hasn't gone that much better. Get on board or shut the up is not a particularly compelling pro-democracy bumper sticker. Nor is, what are you going to do?
Well, you know the reality. There's 4 months left to the presidential election.
4 months is forever. There are contestants on The Bachelor who haven't even met yet that will get married and divorced between now and the election. We have nothing but time. And by the way, I am in no way saying Biden's got to drop out, but can't we stress test this candidacy? All we want is for someone to keep it 100, the percentage, not the age.
Yeah, keep it 100. The percentage, not the age, is actually a pretty good line from Jon Stewart that I will probably steal in the future. But again, you have people that are very upset and uncomfortable with the current state of right side up world, in which you have the media rightfully criticizing Joe Biden 24/7. It is nothing but Joe Biden, the Biden administration, Democrats. And Democrats don't like that. And also the mainstream liberal media doesn't like that. In fact, Democrats are so desperate that they are essentially saying, no. The media should be talking about Trump and Epstein, while liberal media propagandists, like, for example, Joy Behar, didn't like Jon Stewart's monologue too much because, again, she feels like there's too much Biden bashing going on. Again, these are the same people who were silent when it came to all the Trump bashing that was happening 24/7 in the liberal media.
So like Chairman Aguilar said, we hear a lot from our constituents on different issues, but something I've heard that doesn't seem to be being covered are the Epstein files. These files were released, and like Donald Trump sort of all over this, right? There are pictures of him with Jeffrey Epstein. He's taken multiple plane flights with Epstein with young girls on board. He is on call logs with Epstein. One of the highest trending hashtags on Twitter right now is about Trump and Epstein. I'm not going to repeat the hashtag because we're in a dignified setting. But yeah, y'all might want to look at that because that's highly disturbing. And again, it shows that Donald Trump is unfit for office. And by the way, he was convicted in a civilian court for sexual assault, convicted in a separate court of 34 felonies. Donald Trump should drop out of the race.
I wasn't here yesterday, so I was watching television all week. And I'm a little tired of all the Biden bashing that's going on. I'm pissed off at it, frankly. There's a lot of Biden bashing going on, and no calls for the sexually abusive felon to step down.
Yeah. That's actually not
okay,
true,
hold on.
though.
Oh, come on. I don't see anybody in the right wing telling Trump,
I've been doing it
you
for
have
4
to
years.
sit
I
down.
testified against him. The fact that the public decided not to agree with it, I can't help. But there are so many people who've said he's
What
unfit.
Republican is asking that he step down? Tell me.
There's a bunch of disenfranchised
You guys
Republicans.
are segueing right into and wait, I'm going to finish. Well, let's go back to the debate for a second, all right? Everybody keeps calling it a disaster, a disaster. You know why Trump was better at it? Because he lies. He practiced his lies for 2 or 3 years already. That guy, all he did was spew lies that we've heard over and over and over again. When you're telling the truth, like Biden was trying so hard to tell the truth, it doesn't come as easily. It's so easy to just rehearse and practice your lies and then spew them in a debate the way he did.
Yeah, so I think that's the next excuse that I've heard for Joe Biden's debate performance. Well, Trump lied, right? Trump lied. So therefore, that's also an excuse for why Joe Biden could not complete a sentence. And again, it's just hilarious because Biden lied, right? The whole debate, okay? He lied about inflation. He lied about the Border Patrol endorsing him. Biden told so many lies during that debate, but it's just funny how they want to keep talking about Trump lying, even though they won't actually say what he lied about, right? While completely ignoring Biden's lies. Apparently, according to Joy Behar, Biden doesn't lie. The White House doesn't lie. Democrats don't lie, except they actually do lie. And that was admitted to by Sonny Holston on The View, who expressed discomfort with the fact that Democrats are gaslighting the public. Again, we are living in right side up world now, okay?
You know, Biden is not the guy that we saw in 2020. He's not the guy we saw in 2016.
Neither is
He's
Trump.
Not no.
Neither is Trump.
That is true, but he is he is not the guy that we saw as a senator. He is not the guy we saw for 8 years standing by Barack Obama jogging, in the White House. We have to admit that. If not, we are being gaslit. And what I didn't like, and I'm conflicted about this because we are facing this existential threat. What I didn't like was seeing someone like the press secretary, who I admire.
Corinne?
We have a clip of it, actually.
Corinne.
I was just told. We can show that.
There's multiple visits to the White House and pertaining at all to the president's care.
The president, I can tell you, has seen a neurologist 3 times, as it's connected to a physical that he gets every year that we provide to all of them.
It's a very basic, direct question.
Wait. Hold on. Wait a second.
Eight times, or at least once, in regards to the president specifically.
Hold on a second.
much-
Every time he has a physical, he has had to see a neurologist. So that is answering that question.
No, it's not.
No, it is. For security reasons, we cannot share names. Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No.
We saw something, okay? And it's almost like, don't believe your lying eyes. I don't like that. I will say this, we expect Trump to lie. You're right, he's the liar in chief. We do not expect Joe Biden to lie. I want him to tell the truth. I want him to say, you know what?
Are you saying
I
he
wasn't
was lying?
Successful.
Is that what you mean?
No, I'm saying I want him to say, I've gotten older. I'm not as sharp as I used to be, but I'm successful, but he hasn't been saying it.
Yeah, so again, my mind is blown by the fact that for the last 3 or 4 years, we've had the White House gaslighting the American people on the state of the country and reality. Like, for example, when it comes to inflation. Oh, no. Inflation is transitory. The border is completely closed. It's not open. It's not wide open. Illegals aren't just pouring into the country and just destroying these liberal cities. It's not a problem. They're not committing any crimes. Crime is down, right? According to Democrats, everything is all good, right? Everything is all good. They gaslit us on the policies. They gaslit us on the results. The media ignored it. These people went along with the propaganda. And now all of a sudden, when it comes to something that they just can't gaslight people on, now they're admitting that, yeah, the White House lies. And that is what Sunny Holston was essentially saying in a very long-winded way, because she was uncomfortable with that reality. She was uncomfortable having to actually admit the truth that, yeah, we're being gaslit, right? And I really don't like it, okay? Like, we saw something. We know something's wrong with Joe Biden. And I just don't like being told otherwise. And a lot of people don't like that. A lot of American people are uncomfortable with what is being told to us by the White House. And I just got a feeling that it's going to get worse, okay? That the rabbit hole is deeper than we can imagine, guys, in regards to the lies coming out of the White House. I mean, it's at the point now, if the White House says something, especially about Joe Biden, okay, the state of Joe Biden, you should believe the exact opposite, right? That's essentially where we're at. But again, you have a lot of these Democrats that are freaking out because it seems as if Joe Biden being at the top of the ticket is going to sink the whole Democrat Party, right? Including the House and the Senate. And this is what a lot of these people are concerned about. They're not really concerned about Biden's mental condition as much as they're concerned about Biden's mental condition having an effect on their race, right? Them losing their jobs over Joe Biden. And again, this is why you're seeing the backlash against Joe Biden from Democrats, because it really is not looking good for Democrats when it comes to these House and Senate seats.
But the fact of the matter is, you look at the national polling, the generic congressional ballot choice for U.S. House. Look at this. CNN poll, +2 Republican. Wall Street Journal poll, +3 Republican. Monmouth University poll, +3 Republican. Yeah, Joe Biden may be in slightly worse shape in these particular polls, but the fact is, when Biden's down 4, 5, 6 points in these polls, you can only run so far ahead of Joe Biden. At this particular point, at least in the race for the House, it does seem like Republicans are ahead because Donald Trump is so far ahead.
What's the Senate landscape?
Yeah, what's the Senate landscape? I mean, take a look here. GOP needs just a gain of 1 for control if Trump wins. And their path is extremely clear because their best chance for a pickup opportunity is in West Virginia. That's a very likely GOP win with Joe Manchin retiring. And the best Dem pickup chance, perhaps to reverse that so the GOP doesn't gain a net gain of at least 1, is Texas. But that's still a likely GOP win. So the fact is, if Donald Trump wins this election, the race for the Senate, for all intents and purposes in my mind, is over.
One of the things I have heard from Democrats running for Congress is, okay, if President Biden's not doing well, what we'll say is it makes it all that much more important to elect a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate. Maybe they can gain support that way. But does it work like that, split tickets anymore?
It really doesn't. Let's go back since 2000. Same party won presidency and Congress. Yes, 5 times. No was just 1 time in 2012, the House that year. But the House popular vote that year actually went Democratic, even though Republicans maintained control of the House. So the fact is, 5 out of 6 times, that's not good math. And let's just take a look at the Senate here. Senate and presidential races in 2016 and 2020. States that voted the same way in both, 68. States that voted for a different party, just 1. That was Maine back in 2020. The fact is, straight ticket voting is the way of the land these days. The idea that Democrats down ballot could somehow outrun Joe Biden to such a great extent to win control in the House or maintain control in the Senate, that seems to be an unlikely proposition.
That is a pretty stark number.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is that, well, if people come out and they vote and they choose not to vote for Joe Biden, then it's likely that they're not going to vote for the Democrats down ballot, right? So essentially, this is why the Democrats are panicking, is because Biden is a sinking ship and they don't want to go down with Joe Biden, right? They're trying to save their jobs, right? They're trying to save themselves. While at the same time, the reason why Joe Biden doesn't want to step down is because he's trying to save himself, right? So a whole lot of narcissism and selfishness here in the Democrat Party that is essentially destroying the party. And it seems as if, again, this is the perfect storm for Republicans going into the election because, again, if Biden remains at the top of the ticket, it seems as if he's not only going to hurt himself, but he's going to hurt the party as a whole. And we know how important it is that the GOP win back the Senate and keep the House and for Trump to win, because if the Democrats keep the Senate or they take over the House, even if Trump wins, there's not that much he can really do from a legislative perspective unless he's willing to work with Democrats. And that is the last situation that we want to be in. So people have to remember that at this point, it's not just important for Trump to get elected, but it's also important for Republicans to get elected. And this is why I am in support of Joe Biden staying at the top of the ticket, even though I think from a very neutral perspective, just from the perspective of a concerned American citizen, right? He should definitely step down, right? He should not be in office. However, in a situation like this, with Biden being such a negative for Democrats overall, hey, I'm kind of cynical, man. Right? I really am. I'm like one of these people where I'm like, hey, you know what? If it helps us win, it is what it is. Okay? Because at this point, it is a must-win election. It is a must-win election, and we need all the advantages that we can get. So, yeah, I think from a concerned citizen perspective, Biden should step down. But from somebody who is sick and tired of Democrat power and control, yeah, I mean, hey, if he wants to stay in the race and sink the whole party along with himself, be my guest, right? Be my guest. I'm not going to complain. I am simply going to just document and enjoy the chaos and destruction of the Democrat Party, which I think is going to happen regardless. Even if they replace Joe Biden, I think you're still going to get chaos and destruction. So they're screwed regardless. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.